And we are live today, Jack and Dina. We will be talking about how to create a chosen family. Not a spiritual family. We used to have one like that. Maybe not so great anymore. But today we're going to talk about how to create a chosen family. Stay with us, and we will talk about one of the biggest pains that Ex-Jehovah's Witnesses experience and how to cope with it. And we're back. We're back. Okay, awesome. Today, Dina, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about the clan.
Clan?
The clan.
The tribe.
The
People
tribe.
that
Yep.
are surrounding you. Guess what? They're going to influence you the most. Yes. Five
The
people that you
real
surround
clan.
yourself with, you will have the biggest impact on your life. So, guess what? Choose wisely. Unfortunately, as JWs, we couldn't possibly choose wisely because when you join a congregation, usually those choices are made for you. Boom! You join a congregation, you switch from one country to another, from one city to another, you join the congregation, and guess what? 100 people are there waiting for you with the open arms, and they say, yay, we got a new brother, new sister in our congregation. We are a spiritual family. And he looks amazing from the outside. And maybe we feel this kind of a, wow, we really feel like we belong somewhere. This is a great brotherhood, united. No matter where I go, I find my own people. This is my tribe. It's great.
And then you get stuck in a service group with 4 other people, and you would like to rip your own eyeballs out.
Yeah. Not every single service was really that bad. At the same time, not everyone was good. You know what? When I joined the congregation nearby, I switched from Polish to English, right? So when I came to Canada, I was in Polish for like 2 years, and I switched to English. And the English congregation, I was so happy because the Polish congregation average age was like 97. So when I joined the English, I'm like, holy crap! I couldn't even believe it. Half of the congregation was like my age. I was like
under 50.
No, but it was a lot of people my age, a lot of guys my age and girls. So I'm like, okay, great. This will be really awesome experience. Because usually JWs, especially when they're young, they don't have too much friends in the congregation because everybody's maybe older than them or younger. And they're looking for friends outside and needs to really look down upon if you have worldly friends. So when I joined the English congregation, I was blown away. I was like, whoa, that's so cool. Until they really made me feel uncomfortable. In like every service, every meeting, I wanted to make sure that I don't belong there. That I'm this immigrant that they can make fun of. You know, very often, and I'm not saying this is every congregation. There are some congregations that really loved and cared. But some congregations, they have something called cliques. And if you belong to the group that clicks in, great. You're golden. You have friends, no problem. But if you're outside that clique, boy. Did you guys have cliques? Did you have cliques in your congregation?
Yes, there. And so I joined the Spanish when I was like 12-ish. So prior to that, my family was from Kansas, Arkansas. We lived in Hickville. We lived in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was, I think, 10, My dad moved us to Long Island. Not just any Long Island, he moved us to the Hamptons.
Mm, the rich
My
area.
mom used to sew all of our clothes, so we had like little matching Little House on the Prairie clothes. And everybody else was driving Beamers. They got Beamers when they turned 16.
Yeah,
And
nice.
I was the country girl that had an accent that was a country bumpkin, and they were all like sophisticated. So I got laughed at big time. I did not fit into the clique. So then I joined the Spanish, and I was a little bit cooler in the Spanish. But even within the Spanish, we had a lot of different nationalities. And, you know, the Colombians didn't necessarily like the Mexicans. And there was all of these kind of like internal cliques
Yeah,
of what nationality was a little bit cooler than this other nationality. And that just kind of sucked.
yeah. Though not being outside of the clique really, really sucks.
Mhm.
And what happens if somebody says, I don't agree with this teaching? What
Then you're
happens?
definitely kicked out of the clique.
Closest friends, even if you're inside the clique where everybody loves you and cares about you, and they're thinking, we're gonna go through Armageddon together, holding hands. We're gonna be in paradise, living together, building houses and making kids. And all of a sudden, what happens? Tell us, for those who don't know what Jehovah's, some people are studying with Jehovah's Witnesses, they're actually unaware of what happens if you say, I agree with 99.9%. It's just this one thing I don't like. What happens then?
They're going to drop you like a hot potato. No, they probably treat a hot potato better. They're going to smash you, run you over with a car forwards and backwards, and then laugh at all of your pain and misery, because that's what you get. You are dead to them.
You're dead to them, yeah.
So I lost all of my family. All of my family was in the truth. Well, my brother left about 4 years ago, so I have a brother again. But my grandfather passed away about a year ago, something like that. So I found out, you know, through the grapevine. Nobody actually told me. I reached out to some family members. I was like, you know, does anybody have any pictures they could maybe share with me, since my grandfather just died? First of all, mostly nobody answered at all whatsoever. None of my family, aunts, uncles, cousins, nobody. I get crickets, complete dead silence, except for one loving auntie who said, "You are from your father, the devil, and you are more dead to me than my father."
That's very interesting.
Harsh. Yeah. So that's what happens when you leave Jehovah's Witnesses. It's all love bombing and fun and games while you're in there, until you think for yourself and have a different opinion. Then you lose everybody.
It's incredible to what extent. I mean, it bothers me so much when I hear stories where even mothers would tell their children, you turn 18, there is a door. If you don't love Jehovah, you're out. And they will not even pick up a phone from their own child, right? And they have those videos, right? Like where they say a child calls a mother and the mother is like, I would really love to, but I have to be obedient to Jehovah. And they will not even pick up the phone. It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
I've even heard people say that they've had family members that say that they actually hope they die before Armageddon.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe they might get resurrected, but they would rather us be dead.
Yes, I heard it from my own sister. Yes.
Right? Exactly.
So you imagine, like, I mean, if you fall out of the religion because of, I don't know, sex or money or something, right? Then there's this hope that, oh, you know, you sinned, maybe you will repent, you will come back. But if you disagree with the teachings and they label you apostate, oh my gosh, it's like there is no hope for you. It's just
Yeah.
because you become an enemy of Jehovah, and we have to stay away from you as far as we possibly can. Never talk to you again, never have anything to do with you. And that unfortunately also destroys families. Now it's kind of odd when you see that marriage couple, one wakes up, the other one doesn't, and one becomes an activist and says, no, the Jehovah's Witnesses are crazy. And then the other one still goes to the meetings and is like, oh yeah, I still pray to Jehovah, he will return. Yeah, that is really weird.
Then there is another dynamic in the religion too, because I hear a lot of people say, I never fit in. So I guess there's some of us who find our little, niche and we feel like we fit in. But there's a lot of people who consider themselves black sheep, that
Yeah.
they never really fit in, that they never really had good friendships. And I wanted to address that a little bit too, because those people, I think, end up coming out of the religion feeling like there's something wrong with them. Like, I lack the ability to make friends. Like, there's something innately wrong with me. Why can't I have friendships? Why can't I blend? And so if they felt like that in the religion, like they never really fit in the religion, now they're just fellowshipped or left or whatever, and they really can't fit in. And they're really trying to figure out, what's wrong with me? Why am I such a black sheep? Why can't I fit in?
Yeah.
So why can't you fit in? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about why you can't fit in. So even those of us that found little niches that we could get along in, were those real friendships, Jack? Were those real, deep, sincere, honest friendships?
I think they're more like comrades
Mm-hmm.
than anything else. The people who belong to the same church, and you just know them on the surface. Because I believe that the true friendship only happens if you feel completely free to share anything with the other person.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
if they disagree with you, it's still okay.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, I'm not saying that there are not good people who want to be true friends in their organization. It's just, unfortunately, they're putting into people's minds that loyalty to Jehovah is number one, which for them is like organization is the same thing. And if that requires you cutting off your friend because he could be a potential danger to your spirituality, then you have to do it. So I'll give you one example. I had a really good friend. We've been friends for a couple of decades. And I shared with her, some of my doubts, right? I'm like, she told me some stuff and I'm like, she's waking up. She wasn't, but I thought she was. Like, okay, let's go for a coffee. We'll go talk. And I was a volcano at that moment because nobody wanted to, I didn't know who to trust, who to talk to. My wife didn't want to talk to me, so I tell her everything. So we'll go for a coffee, and I just told her 607, 1914, and like everything, right? Guess what happens?
Her head blew up.
Right away, she started shining, even though we were friends for so long. Fortunately, we have her with us today, and maybe she'll tell her the other side of the story.
Is she on?
You're so funny. Look at this.
You blow your head up with all
my problem.
So I tell you, it was amazing. I was like, oh yeah, she's listening. I'm telling her, all this stuff. I'm drawing the graphs, on the table about the 1914 and all those things, right? And she's just
he's so excited. He gets his first ex-convert.
And I'm
this
there.
is great.
Like okay, I was a bit sick then, right? He comes and he's like, okay, I'll take you out for lunch, and I'm in like half pajamas and nothing with me. He's like, no, it's on me, whatever, just take your jacket and go. I have so much to tell you. So we'll go to Jack Astor's and he, you can draw on this. He's drawing this. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, what the heck? Yeah. 1914, blah, blah, this, that, and I'm like, my head is like blowing up. And and then I'm thinking, oh my God, I have no money. I don't have car. I'm in my half pajamas. I cannot leave. It's winter. I have to stay and listen to this. Like, and he's so passionate, it's not only the information, it's the energy that comes with it.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's this
Volcano. I was like,
he's so
somebody's
excited.
Oh
Oh my God.
my God.
So yeah, after that I was like, oh yeah, oh okay, in my head is like, oh. So then I come home, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, like I have to process what happened, and I think I was at your house, right? Jacek. I stayed over, I think, on the weekend. I don't know if it was that time. So it was like it was close, right, to that time. And you told me about there was the new Bible that came out, right?
That's
And you were telling me all your doubts and all stuff like that. And then I remember going in service a couple of days later after all everything.
After your head blew up.
Yes, going in service, and then so I did. Yeah, everyone's like, "How was your weekend?" Whatever. So I said, I was good, but I don't know, like, I was at my friend's house and we were talking about this Bible, the new Bible, and yeah, and then the new elder who's just made new, his ear became like elephants, all of a sudden he heard things I didn't say even, like, what I mean. So I just said that, there was some doubts about this new Bible release, and I don't know, it was just kind of a it's just, I got this strange feeling, whatever. Like, I didn't say much, and I didn't even say a lot. It was enough for them, to just have this picked up, this, yeah, there's a apostate fair in the air, like. So then he got a visit, and yeah, I think we didn't talk for a year, right?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah,
almost
something like
2
that.
years we didn't talk.
And I think when we talked next, it was at the convention. I was already wide awake because I, even though it was so hard for me to get all that information, it stayed, right? And then he mentioned the book and all that stuff, and then I read the book, The Right Friends book. Yeah. And that made me sicker even, I was just like, it was flu times 10. I took a week off from work, on the basis of being sick, because it was mind blowing. But and literally, yeah, and my world collapsed. I had like fever when reading. I couldn't put it down until I finished, and all the time was like, Monica, there's no going back. There's no going back. You know that if you read it, if you go to the other side, you can't come back, right? So, but I'm like, no, but I want to know. And then, so yeah, and then at the convention, it was 2017, right? It was in ACC, the international, and I'm texting him. I think that was the first time we got a contact after that, right? I said, hey, I can see you. And then I send you a text, something that you clue in, right? That I am awake. And I said, isn't that a nonsense or something, what he's saying? And like, oh, I can't believe you're here, And then I came down on the ice level. And actually at that time, and I was doing a little bit of like, Dora said, oh, I have headache. I said, listen, wait a second. I'll just do some energy healing on you.
I kid you not. She was practicing Reiki healing in the middle of the convention. Okay, with all the around us. Okay?
I'm like, fuck you, people. Like, my mom beside me, she said, why are you not singing? I'm like, I just physically can't, like, I can't. And if it wasn't for our texting, I would just die mentally. Like, there was a moment where I'm thinking, because it was this Hurt, right? Brother Hurt. And then people are laughing because he's saying a joke. And I'm thinking, why are you laughing? He is putting you down, making fun of you people. Like, don't you see it? Like, it was not a joke. It was not a joke. He thinks you're idiots. And we were having this texting back and forth. It's like, oh my God, look at this video. I can't believe he said that and stuff. It was just,
It was interesting, but Monica didn't want to leave because of her mom. So tell us a little story.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, there was a time where I was a bit tired of pioneering everything and just kind of the whole thing, it's just getting tall on you, with age, and you see people in a park having good time and you have to do and slave. and thinking, oh my God, I would love to just sit and do, like that. Like, why can't I? Like, I know, simple thing, like sit in the park under a tree. No, because you gotta go in your stupid long skirt and attack people. So at one point, Mama was living in Chicago, and I was thinking, oh my God, I'm so tired of it, I still believe it, but it was just tired of the whole, like production that I was putting on. And then my mom at that moment, she wanted to please me, and she said to me, and I think I'll start pioneering. I'm like, oh my God. And the moment where I wanted to like slow down, and then she tells me she wants to pioneer, like, please, F you, like, sorry, but I can't, like, really. Okay, then I didn't say anything about that because I don't want to, interfere with her spirit of zeal and stuff, whatever. So then, we didn't have any talk about that. And then we're sitting at the convention, right? And then, yeah, she says to me, why are you not singing? I'm like, I can't, and I'm like, and then I said, well, I just don't think this is, she says, really? Well, why didn't you say it before? You could have gone somewhere out, camping or something. Like, I didn't want to be here either. I'm here just for you. I'm like, oh my God, why did it happen on Sunday? Like, seriously. So yeah, she didn't believe it, because she told me I've been listening to some YouTube, things, but I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to like lose you, because what happens. And I said, yeah, I've been listening for like few months now, like 6 months, whatever, to things too. And I didn't want to share it with you because you had this pioneering idea that I already was out with. So yeah, so that.
Funny. They were both PMOs, and they were afraid of telling each other that this is crazy. And
that's why friendships and relationships are messed up in the religion.
Yes, exactly. You can't be honest. You cannot be honest.
You cannot be honest with your own mother. You cannot say exactly what you're feeling. In order to have a good relationship with a friend or a family member or anything, you have to have the freedom to say, hey, you know what? This is what I'm going through. And then they lovingly go, okay, sweetheart, let me support you through it. Not, we're going to cut you off.
Yeah.
Or good for you that your mother didn't, but you were both living in this fear of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
exactly.
fractures relationships. That fractures everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. You can't have real friendships, really. Like, to be honest, I don't miss anyone. Somehow, funny enough, you knew so many people. And it's like, I really don't.
38 years I spent in the religion.
Yeah, 27 for me. And like
service, 20 years in full-time service. And there is not one person that I could tell anything about my life to, about what I love, about who I am, about it. Not one single person. So does that mean that I don't know how to make friends? No, it means I was in a cult.
Yes, and exactly. That's right. And you were mentioning, because I listened before I joined, like some people feel like they cannot, like, not black sheep, but also like you kind of, you have to, observe how to fit in. I did that in a way, you know what I mean? Because of my kind of, I wasn't raised in, so I joined in because of the pure love of God. Like, really, it was just like, so I joined, but I constantly found myself being, kind of not right here, not right there. Somehow, me being really like doing what is you're supposed to do. I found that this actually is not what you're supposed to do, because then you don't they like people that are not actually fully in, somehow. So here, like when I was in Poland, let's say, I mean, it's behind times. Yeah, I laughed too much. I was canceled on that. There was local needs about me. Seriously, I'm a bad influence. I bring the Western world in here. I bring the bad, what was that, the wind of I forgot how to the wind of Western
culture or something, right?
Some like, but there was no, like, more like not ruination or spoil, not immorality, because it wasn't that far, but you know what I mean, like I bring the bad influence. Oh yeah, bad influence from the Western world. That's it, what the hell, because I said to the young
This is
people,
a Western religion. Hello.
yeah, exactly. Come on, come on, be up to date with it, Yeah, no joke. You couldn't be yourself, really, if you're not raised knowing how to pretend, because that's what I found later on. Those people that are actually also liked and said, they're not like that. This is just a facade. And because I was being myself, it was not acceptable. It wasn't acceptable. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, you got to put on this something. I don't know.
So now that we're out, how do you compare your friendships now versus the ones you had before in a religion? We'll start with Dina.
My friendships now?
Yeah.
I have friends for the first time in my life. Because it doesn't matter if my skirt is 1 inch above my knee, or if this is too, or they don't like my hair. You know what? I know, right? I can be me. You know what I found? You know what? I discovered something about myself when I left. I'm actually hilarious. I'm actually really funny. I make people laugh all the time. You know what? I did not make anybody laugh in the religion because that might not be appropriate. I might offend
You have to
someone.
guard yourself, yeah.
If I say that. I mean, I was a mouse. I was, I was not me. And I've been able to step into the real me. And guess what? There's people who like the real me. That's wonderful. You know what? And I found real people and real friendships. And like I said, I spent 38 years in the religion, 20 years regular pioneering. There are some people that I pioneered with for 10 years. And you know what? I don't know them. I don't know them.
Isn't that
We
crazy?
only talk about superficial things, never what your hopes and dreams are, what your goals are, what your gifts are, what you would do if nothing were an obstacle, what your problems are, a shoulder to cry on, somebody to lean on if you're going through a tough time. Because you know what? You can't share any of that when you're in the religion.
Mm-mm.
If you were to tell anybody that you had any problems, well, first of all, you need to go talk to the elder. You're gossiping, probably.
Then you labeled as she has problems.
The reason why you have problems is because are you secretly sinning? Maybe you should just pray more. That's boo.
Yeah.
That's horrible. It's so shallow, so shallow. And you know what? It's not just on our end. It's on the other person's end too, because every single person has to hide who they really are. Like you said, they have to put on a facade. Every single person, it's like you're at, we didn't celebrate Halloween growing up, but I can imagine what a Halloween party was like. Everybody's wearing a mask. Everybody's wearing a costume, and you don't know who's on the other side of that mask because you can't share anything. God forbid they think you're an apostate or that you're not spiritual or you're not up to their level because, if you're a pioneer and you say this, then, maybe your spirituality is not that good. Maybe, the judgment all over. So if anybody out there who's feeling like you're the black sheep and you just can't figure, it's your problem because you can't make friends, listen to this. You're in a cult. That's why you didn't have friends. That's why you didn't fit in. It doesn't have anything to do with you. You cannot make friends with fake people. You cannot make friends when you all have masks on. You don't even know what the other person looks like. This is not about your ability to make friends. This is about fakeness. This is about authenticity. How about this? How many of us actually knew ourselves while we were in the cult?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
People, when they get out, one of the first things I say is, what are your passions? We're going to create a future for you, and what are your dreams and what do you want to do? And they go like this.
Yeah. There's nothing. Emptiness.
I don't know. Yeah.
Spiritual goals were only ones worth mentioning, but even those, it's like.
Yeah. We don't even know ourselves. So if you don't even know yourself, how are you supposed to make meaningful friendships with somebody else? It's like a fail fail situation. You are set up to not have friends. And I guess probably that's useful in a cult, because if people really could put down the mask and say who they really are and explore their own feelings and be authentic, we'd all leave faster.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
We'd all go, hey,
Yeah,
did you
no,
watch
it's
this video? And the video would go viral and the whole congregation would leave.
Yeah, you can't be honest even with the stupid, videos that were coming out, right?
Yeah.
You
And
can't. Well, Jacek was honest about the Bible, and you got him a visit from the elders because of me.
Pretty much, and I never blame Monica for it. Although I had this feeling like, okay, she's gonna keep this a secret. And I'm
I know.
like,
He
okay,
he
that was
texted me,
really
he said,
quick.
"How could you?" And I'm like, I didn't do anything. I just mentioned about
The
that.
next day, I'm like, oh my
She
god.
ratted you out.
But I remember when my friend told me that he was sleeping with some girls, right? And he was a JW. I couldn't sleep at night. I was like, his sin now entered me. And if Jehovah will find out that I covered up his sin during Armageddon, I'm gonna be killed because I covered up his sin. You know what I mean? Like it's his sin
Yeah,
entered
yeah.
me because I
They
covered
create
up.
this whole web of thinking, right?
It's crazy. This is
It's
one
a
of the
divide. It's a
manipulations that are
divide and
happening.
conquer. I had the same thing happen to me. I think I was like 15 or 16, and I had a friend, and he was always kind of weakish in the truth, and I saw him smoking.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I happened to be talking to his brother, and I think he was only like 17 or 18, and I'm 15 or 16, and his brother's 15 or 16, and I was like, guess what? I saw your brother smoking. He goes, oh my God, I did too. He goes, now we're two witnesses. He says, we have
Oh.
to. We have to. And I was like,
Oh my God, yeah.
And we did. We turned him in, and he got
You did.
disfellowshipped. Mhm.
Maybe you
Never
did him a
went back.
favor,
I know, right?
I
No
think the
kidding.
worst part is you're thinking, oh, I'm doing the loving thing. I remember
Yes,
that's what
exactly.
I'm like. I'm helping my friend because this way he can return to his
Yeah, yeah.
upright morals and whatever, and get himself straightened out with Jehovah.
Yeah.
And after he got this fellowship, it was just me and him on the job site. Okay, just me and him, nobody else. And I'm not talking to him. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, it's mentally crazy. I went to
You're
the
not
elders.
there. No, Paula, who
And-
else is in the room?
It's weird. It was the
Right
weirdest thing
signs.
ever.
Hello.
I go to the
Pass
elders.
me
and
a
I'm like,
hammer.
what am I supposed to do? I'm working with this guy every day. We're working on swing stages, so we're like with very close proximity with each other, right? Like 5 feet apart. And I'm not supposed to talk to him.
Did you play
So-
Kingdom Melodies?
So the elder says, well, you have to be your
That would
own
have been
policeman."
awesome.
So this is what he advised me, is that you have to be your own policeman. Okay, because there's nobody there who's gonna police you. It's just you and him, right? So you cannot. He was my employee, right? So you cannot fire him because he's disfellowshipped, and you have to basically figure it out when you have to talk to him. So if you before you say something,
Oh, I know. You have to leave it up to your Bible trained conscience.
Yeah.
so you have to ask yourself, do I have to say something? If I don't
I have to
it,
say it.
then I don't say it. So I'm thinking, there is a hammer right next to him. Should I ask him to pass me the hammer, or should I go get the hammer myself? I'm like, no,
Oh my
I can go get it myself. So I go get it myself. Like he quit
What
after
a
2
waste
days.
of brain cells.
Mental gymnastics, like
It was
seriously.
insane.
Oh
I
my
was
God.
mentally exhausted, and so was he. And he quit his job in like, I don't know, 2-3 days later. He couldn't take it anymore. I was so relieved that he quit because I didn't want to fire him because of it. And I'm like, how are we gonna work for like a year before he gets reinstated together, not talking to each other? And what about lunchtime? We're eating lunch in the car all the time. What am I supposed to do? Eat outside while he's in? And they're like, how did we resolve this? It was just so stupid when I think about it.
It
But
was, yeah.
it's like, even though he was such a close friend, we were still guarded by this indoctrination, to the point where, like, even after he was disfellowshipped, he still followed the same rules. Like he wouldn't talk to me, right? It's just crazy. So now my question to you guys: how do you navigate afterwards? Like, Monica, tell me about your friends right now. How do you feel about even meeting new people and being more authentic, and in comparisons with meeting people in the congregation when you change? Because I know you change congregations too.
Yes,
Poland, then
I
Germany, then here in Canada.
and in the
At least
States and all everywhere. And then I got lost. I told them to send our cards somewhere where I just picked an address from the phone book, so it will get lost. That's it, done. Um,
That's a good one.
so yeah, actually, I thought, why
I
don't
like
I?
that.
Why didn't I pick an address of my own? Send it to my home. Like pretend it's an elder.
they wouldn't do it. They have to actually check where they're sending the
So
papers.
it went somewhere. Who cares? Like so. As far as my friendships, well, I discovered having the whole million, hundred friends and quote marks. It's not necessary in life. You need a few good friends that you actually feel good with, because the truth is there's not even time to to keep up a lot of friendships, right? Like, there's life, there's work, there's this, and if you want to have a meaningful friendships, that need also time and work, right? But so I revived a couple of friendships from my school in Poland, and then I made some new friends over the time. And yeah, we're and here in States. So I have in every place where I am, I have couple good, 2, 3 good friends. And yeah, like we have, I think we have exceptional friendship, that lasted everything. And then it was I'll be always grateful for you to actually do this. The waking up for me, because I think it would have taken me a few more years before I gotten it myself, but because of the shock therapy that I got, it was sooner than later.
I'm grateful that that you actually didn't say anything against me while I was exploding. You were just listening with big eyes. I remember. Oh my gosh. So, is she gonna survive this? But you
Yeah.
didn't say anything to me. Like, right, when I try to describe the same things to my wife was just like, no, 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 we can't think this. Like, I don't want to know this. Like, what's going on? And like, like, right, demon. And similar reaction from my sisters. Right, they listened, but they were not listening like you. You were actually listening. I remember you were listening, and you were not contradicting whatever. With my sisters, it was more like a ping pong conversation. What about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? So it wasn't going anywhere.
Actually, I was, in a way, it was interesting. I will never forget that time. But I know we've had not as intense conversations, but you've expressed your different opinions in the past, and I was like, okay, he has his own take on this. Like, I always respected. Remember, like, when we were driving, you drive me home or something, and I always said, oh my, Jacek will create his own religion one day, because he he has a take, like a different take on things. Yeah, and it was interesting. Like, it helped me in some ways. Like, I'm always interested in other people's opinion until like now. So I do respect that. I even actually have a website. It's empty for now, but I'm thinking it's called Compassionate Listening. So compassionate ear. So it's a project for the future, So I guess this is something but yeah, like our friendship, maybe it's been always authentic, even if when we were in a cult, well, maybe it was, but yeah, we had that, I think.
The
right
authenticity was there, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
And as far
I tell you what really helped me to realize to what extent that this friendships and love is controlled by witnesses is when my sister, which I was the closest with, I got 3 sisters, and one of the sisters was the closest to me. When she found out that I have doubts and I stopped going to the meetings, she called me and she basically asked me, you have to tell me who you are, meaning in the organization. Where do you stand? Because Jehovah's Witnesses, they need a label in order to know how to treat you. So I asked her, like, why you ask? Why are you asking this? And she told me, like, I need to make a decision regarding of how I'm going to treat you. They
Mhm.
need this label. They need to know, are you a worldly person? Are you an interested one? Are you studying? Are you an unbaptized publisher? Are you a baptized publisher? Are you a ministerial servant, elder, whatever, right? Or are you marked? Or are you weak spiritually? Or are you
Yeah, we
disfellowshipped? Or are you an apostate? They need all those labels. They have like, I don't know, 15 different labels. And based on those labels, they will treat you differently
yeah.
because you are on a different level, right? So if you are interested one, oh, they'll do anything for you. The law, right?
Yes.
Because that's their job, to bring you in. But if you are marked in a congregation, you're not disfellowship. You just maybe started dating somebody who's not a witness. Maybe you just went to this red line a little too close. Then we'll be nice to you at the Kingdom Hall, but nowhere else. It's just like there's just crazy rules. People who are not witnesses, they'll be listening to like, what are you guys talking about? But we know, like it's that we needed that label in order to know how to act
Yeah.
towards somebody else. When you leave this, you scrap all the labels. That doesn't mean you don't have standards anymore. You have standards, but the standards are based on human behavior, not based on the level of your engagement in your religion. And when you understand this, then you're like, oh, then means I get to choose my friends, and I choose my friends based on how they behave and how they are towards us, not based on, oh, is this guy a pioneer or not? Right?
Yeah, I remember, according to what you're saying.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Yeah. We'll mute these.
So what you said actually just brought a memory to my head about a certain person. Maybe I shouldn't say names. Never mind. You know, the Estonian missionary. That's better.
Right.
We know what we're talking about. And when he came, you know, when we just were kind of dating, was long distance for the last time.
Right.
So we met in Poland, right? And at that time my eyes got completely open of, you know, and then I saw like the person he was. And when he was telling me, you know, because at the moment I wasn't this silly 19-year-old anymore, like, you know, blindly in love with his face that looks like Alain Delon, or, you know, his romantic letters. It was that time, it doesn't make, you know, it's not any meaning anymore when you're like in your 30s or something, you know. You just want like, you see beyond that. And then the way he was treating other people that I saw, I remember telling him, I said, listen, it's you enter a room of my friend, like friends at that time, you know, because people that I knew, and why were you asking them, like, you know, why you enter the room, introduced yourself, so, and my name is so and so, and I'm a missionary, I'm an elder, I'm whatever, you know, mentioned the titles, and then he went around the room shaking hands, asking what is their you know, position, like as if it meant. I said, why did this was so, like, you don't do this. Why don't you, like, they're just people, so look at them as people. They don't need to know who you are. Just you know, be yourself. And he says, oh, I said, who will you introduce yourself that you are, when it will be the new system and there's no titles anymore? Because apparently there'll be no more, you know, pioneer, elder and stuff. Will be all equal, like, you know, how they were saying. And I said, who will you be then? Like, who will you introduce yourself as? You know, this rude, egocentrical man that you are, because that's all I see that you are. You know, like, who cares that you have a title, but you don't treat nicely this person that I saw. You didn't treat nice that one person. You made me fall off the bike because you told me something so hurtful. Like, and your title means absolutely nothing. You know, maybe now it means to you something, and people that, you know, whatever, care about that. But who will you be if the title will be stripped off you? Like, who are you as a person? You
Yeah.
know, it was such a rude awakening, at that time. And yeah, so it's like, oh, how could you say this to me? Have respect. I said, the little respect I had, I lost it right now when you said this, like, no, I have no respect, especially not for you and not your title. So yeah, it's people, and also people behave according to what they think the title is. Like, they're becoming, it's like you would impersonate a firefighter. You're a firefighter when you fight the fire, right? But when you strip off your firefighting outfit, like, you're just a human, right? And in a store, no one knows you're a firefighter, so you're not gaining respect of anyone, because they don't know. They just know how you treat them. So it's what's underneath that outfit, that whole. So, but for them, this outfit was on all the time, right? In the organization, right? Because you don't ever strip the outfit off, because we're still in this whole, as you say, like the Halloween mode, constant Halloween mode. Yeah. So yeah, so that's kind of reminded me. It's like, who are you outside? Like, when you strip off that thing. Yeah.
Like I said, they don't even know
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
because we didn't know. So
It's like you, the actor who you play, they constantly playing that movie, right? Like, yeah.
I think it's a
Yeah.
key to first get to know yourself, because this way you much easier will find friends that will match who you are, because you will match their values and beliefs. But if you don't know who you are, because every decision you ever made, especially if you were raised in this organization, then you're like, well, who am I remember I was asking myself that question, like, since I remember, I was always making all the decisions of what will that say about Jehovah? What would this say about the organization, right? Will this stumble anybody, right? And with this kind of a mindset, you're not yourself. You're losing yourself. They even say, "Oh, we're going to give you a new personality," right? They use the scriptures and they say, "Oh,
right.
we're going to put on you a new personality." And it's not your personality; it's the personality they gave you in order for you to be accepted in this environment. And when you leave this environment, you're like, what is my personality? Who can I trust? And I think it's one of the biggest issues is a trust. Because before it was like, okay, everybody outside you cannot trust. You can only trust brothers, and you all, the higher you are on that level of JWs, the more trust you can have. And then when I was waking up, I'm like, what? There were elders who were molesting children.
I know. I have no clue.
Like these people are supposed to be the most trustworthy, and then you find out stuff like this, and then the guys at the very top covered up all these things. I'm like, how can you trust these people? You can't. It's even worse. So what I realized is, because of this mask that JWs are wearing, it's actually harder to become friends with them. Because you can become comrades very quickly. Commonality brings people together. People like each other when they're like each other. So if I'm like you, you like me, we're going to like each other. Great. We both know 80% about each other's life because we both belong to the same cult. The problem is what happens behind that face, that face, right? That you're covering up, that mask. And that's where the true friendship happens, because when you see somebody for who they really are, then the bond happens. But JWs very often were covering up that bond and only took it off when they got married. And when they got married, I think, Dina, you can you can say that, right? With your marriage, like, okay, this guy, everybody loves him in the congregation. But when we go home, what happens, Dina? Tell me. What happens?
Really?
They're gay.
You had a gay guy, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy?
Yep. No idea. No idea.
And you had no idea.
And if you can marry somebody and not even know who they are, how the heck are you supposed to make a friend with somebody? I mean, that's the person you're supposed to know the best. And if they can hide so much because of how that system is set up, how do you know anybody? Then I think the other thing too is we're so used to judgment. We're so used to, okay, what should I wear? Is this going to be acceptable? Maybe I shouldn't say that. So you don't say anything at all. And you're worried about what this person's going to say. That, what the car you buy, what are they going to say about the car you buy? It's 2 doors instead of 4 doors. So now I'm going to be, you're so obsessed with being judged constantly. And that can get in your way if you take that out into our brave new world out here, because you're not going to find the same amount of judgment out in the world as you did in there. I do not think there is any group of people in the universe that's as judgmental as what we came from. So when you're creating your chosen family, when you're creating your tribe, when you're creating that, drop the judgment thing, isolate the judgment, realize that those words of judgment came from the cult and that normal humans don't really care. Normal humans don't care what you wear or what you eat or what you drive or what you say, or if you say something inappropriate. I mean, the JW level of judgment is here. Worldly level of judgment is, and I guess I can't go much lower because I'm off the screen, but maybe they might get offended or something, but they do not judge. You will never, ever, ever be judged as harshly as you were in the organization. So I think the first key is take some time and know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Think about, what were your happiest memories? What have you loved doing the most? If you could do anything, what would you do? And start getting to know yourself. That way, when you meet new people, you can share some of those things and try to find things in common with people, find new commonalities.
And I like the fact that we mentioned about this already, but when you not only share things that you might differ, but appreciate the differences. When you hear from somebody, oh, they have a different point of view, they whatever it is, political, religious beliefs, Bible, God, you name it. Instead of contradicting them and it's like, oh, you're wrong, appreciate the differences. That's their viewpoint. You're not trying to change it. I'm glad that this is what convinces you. Great. Doesn't convince me. Great. We're still friends. That's the part when JWs are missing, where you could disagree and still be friends.
Yeah.
But when you start appreciating the differences, automatically somebody else will start appreciating the fact that you are different, and your individuality will grow. Because previously your individuality was that tiny, was very small, because you couldn't possibly even share any of your successes with JWs. You couldn't show that you're different. You always had to fit in. But now that you're outside, you get to be yourself, and not everybody's going to like that. But at the same time, because you exposing yourself more of who you are, you're going to attract people who will see your value for who you are. And you're not going to have 8 million people who are just like you. Maybe you're going to find 2 or 3 or 5 the most. It's all what you need. You don't need this gigantic spiritual family, as they called it. You need a chosen family, people who treat you right, and people who you will treat right. And it could be a very small group, but there are people who you can be authentic. They're actually measured as I forgot what the camera is called. It is the camera that measures actually a frequency of emotions. Like if you're in love or if you're angry or whatever, it can actually show you how you vibrate. And what's amazing is that we send the most vibration where we are authentic, which is actually the strongest vibration out of all of them, even beats love.
Yeah.
By like, I don't know how many times, but it's the strongest vibration. And we feel it. We even drawn towards people who are authentic, even if we disagree with them. But when people are truly authentic and they speak their mind, even when we don't agree with it, like, I like that this guy has guts to say it publicly or whatever, right? Whatever he means. It's like, even if we're like, okay, this is crazy, but at least he says it, right? And there's plenty of what I noticed, that really good speakers, the speakers who truly capture people's attention, it's that they have a specific technique of doing it, is that they really go deep down into their core, and they can become very authentic with with people. I'm trying to mute. Oh, there. Oh, I removed Dina for a second. And I think that's the key in finding friends outside. First of all, be authentic, be yourself. But at the same time, we might feel like, oh, you know what? I have to find people who are exactly like me because that's what it was. That was the standard among JWs. No, we don't have to be the same. But if we're different, don't push those differences on others, because that's what we were taught, that if you're a JW, you have to teach and preach. And there was always that hook. So
Exactly.
you could have friends you can have friends at school. Why not? You can have friends in your neighborhood, but give them a little track, invite them to the meeting. You know, you can, there's always that hook. Even right now, but they loosened up a little bit that policy against talking to disfellowship people. They said, we're allowing you to talk to this disfellowship people as long as you're inviting them to the meeting, you're inviting them to the assembly or convention or memorial. So there's always that hook, and people feel it, that if you have alternative motive, that you're not truthful with them. We feel it almost instantly. If somebody comes to your door, okay, if he's a salesperson, and he doesn't tell you why he's there, and he starts talking about the flowers in your garden, such a beautiful garden, whatever, you know he's BSing you. You right away feel that, oh, he's buttering you up, okay, so you could be friends for a moment, and then he's gonna sell you something. You feel it like in 2 seconds or less. And yet, this is the technique that JWs were using all the time, thinking that works. No, it doesn't, because you're not authentic. You go there and you're trying to say, oh, we're not trying to convince you. We're not trying to change your mind.
Oh, I hate that. That was such a lie. Yes, exactly.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We were all trying to turn people into
Yeah, and we want to change your
It's like the cognitive dissonance. You're saying one thing, you do another. People felt it. This is why door-to-door witnessing was basically you don't bring anybody.
Yeah, very ineffective.
More people would come. More ineffective. Yeah, more people would come from informal witnessing because you're more natural that way, right? And then you're just sharing, this and that, and I know you. But this door-to-door witnessing, oh my gosh, I think this is one of the reasons why they're fading away from this, because he ain't working. But I don't think those cards are working either.
No, I don't think so. And never worked when I was there. Like, it isn't. And my last working on a cards, I was discouraging people from taking magazines and telling them to look up on Jehovah's Witnesses, because you cannot believe what's written here. It was actually one of the best of my card witnessing moments.
You.
I know.
You're the anti-pioneer. I like it.
I would say, because I was with another sister, and I was like, oh no, I'll take this. I'll take it. So I was taking because I'm like, don't take this. No. This is not.
All right.
Right.
So we're gonna wrap it up soon. What would be the advice that you would give to people who are, let's say, PIMOs, and they're really afraid of leaving the JWs because they're thinking they will never find that kind of group, that kind of friendships? Where are they gonna go? It's one of the most common questions that they say, like, oh, if this is not the truth, what is the truth? Where are we gonna go? Where are we gonna find an organization and people who love me as much as they love me here? What would you tell them?
Nowhere. That's it. I would say you will never find this kind of place like you came out of.
Okay.
You're cut off, Monica.
I know, that's what I said.
This is live. I can't edit this.
Diana, we'll give you the voice. I'm giving up.
Okay. Everything that you're losing is fake.
Yeah. That's why
You
you won't find anything like this.
You're losing nothing. You're losing a whole bunch of people that have no idea who you are. And even the ones that do, they are willing to cut you off in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You are doing yourself a favor by getting rid of toxic relationships. You are losing poison. You are losing toxicity. You are losing fakeness. You are losing a whole bunch of people who are not going to be there when you need them anyway. So what you are actually losing is an illusion. It's an illusion of friendship. It's a facade. It's fake. You are losing the imagination of friendship. You're not going to lose anything.
Mm-hmm.
What you're going to do is you're going to find yourself, and you're going to find a voice to be able to express who you are and what you love to do and what your hopes and dreams are. Thank you, Christine. And you're going to find people that vibe with that. That's the most beautiful thing. That's the most beautiful gift outside. So now you don't have to go preaching, and you're not going to have to go to meetings, and you get to have real friends, real people that you get to say, this is what I love. And they're going to go, me too. And you're going to say, I'm having a really bad day, or this is going really bad. And they're going to go, aw, come on, let's go out to lunch. Not, are you studying enough? No, you're going to get rid of fakeness, and you are going to gain authenticity. You know, I just want to share one thing really quick. When I went through my my third marriage, you need a flow chart for all of these, right? The third one, he was an elder. He got deleted as an elder, deleted as a pioneer for domestic violence, and he abandoned me and 3 kids in the Dominican Republic. So like 2 weeks after that, we had an assembly. And so I'm there with the kids by myself, right? And so there were people who I thought were my family, my spiritual family. And they're like, oh, where's your husband? And I'm crying, and I'm like, oh. And the first thing I get is, don't, that's gossip. That's gossip.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, really. Yeah, not even kidding. There was this one couple, they were missionaries there, and I viewed them as my surrogate parents. I thought we were like that. Of all the people that I thought that I could lean on for emotional support, he's an elder. They were missionaries for like 50 years, spiritual people, right? There's anybody that I could lean on as I'm going through this extremely challenging thing, I thought it would be them. Man, I did not get 5 seconds out when he was like, oh, no, that's confidential. We can't talk about that. That's gossip. You're going to end up getting disfellowshipped for slander and gossip. So what did I lose? Big, fat nothing. Big, fat nothing. Now I have a great family. I have adopted people. I've adopted people, and you know what? I can have the worst day ever, and guess what? They're there. They're there. That's what you're going to gain. That's what you're going to gain. You have absolutely nothing to lose. You've already lost it. You don't even have it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my advice.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
What
100%.
about you,
So,
Monica?
as I said, you will never find the same fakeness outside of it, so don't even try to search for another. Go and find another cult. That's it. You find the same thing if you miss it, but no, you won't. People are who they are, and they're actually, as you were saying, they're willing to listen. They're interested in other people, actually are interested in the person that they're talking to, not your credentials. They're just interested in how you make them feel, how you respecting, what they say and who you are. That's it. And I find this is great. It's amazing. I like it. Yeah.
We
What I
proved
like-
that. That was good.
Beautiful. What I like about getting friends right now is that you will get to know people so much quicker.
Mhm.
Because at JW, like in your case, Dina, the guy was gay and he got married, and you found out after. if somebody is not a JW and he's gay, he'll tell you he's gay.
I know. What
That
does
would
he have
save
to
me
like
so much
fake it for?
That
Why
would have
would
saved
you-
me so
why
much
would you
trouble.
lie about it, right? He's done no reason to lie about it. He's done no
Like,
reason.
oh
to,
yeah, by the way, guess what?
That's what I'm saying. If somebody wants to smoke, he will smoke. If he wants to put a tattoo, he will put a tattoo. If he wants to swear, he will swear. You will get to know the person 100 times faster.
Because nobody's
Then-
hiding anything.
Yeah, because you're not hiding. So I'm not saying JWs are good or bad people. I'm not here to judge them. I'm just saying you will get to know a person who is not restricted with all those rules 100 times faster, and you will be able to decide, is this person a good person for a
Yeah,
friend?
yeah. They
Because when-
put the Halloween outfit for Halloween, you know,
Yeah,
and the rest
and-
of the years
Exactly.
just
And
themselves. Like,
Another problem was if you are outside of the organization, you're free right now, and let's say you don't want to be with somebody, you're like, you know what, this person mistreated me, I don't like his values, I don't like the way he's treating me or others, and the way he's behaving, I don't want anything to do with that person. You can cut them off and you say, okay, that's it, friendship is over.
mhm.
But if you were in a JW world, it wasn't that simple. Because if that person was, let's say, especially in your service group, you would see that person 2-3 times a week.
yeah.
And somebody else was assign you to go to service with him. And now you got to go to service for sometimes 2-3 hours, right? And you have very little to say. You might try to say, oh, no, I've seen this happen. And it happened to me many times. I'm like, pray Jehovah, please don't send me with this. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, great. We're going together. Yeah. And you really dislike that person because you know how he is and how he mistreated you, but now you're kind of forced into association with that person.
Because it's your brother.
And
Yes, and you have
and yeah, and I tell you,
Jehovah
there was
loves
a moment
them.
where, because we were so mistreated, me and my sister and other people in the congregation were mistreated by the clique
Mhm.
that I mentioned at the very beginning.
yeah.
We turned into elders because we're talking to them and they're just making fun of us. Sarcasm was like their number one value. So I went to the elder and I said, okay, this is why we're meeting and this is what we wanted to say. And he cut us off. He's like, I don't want to listen to this. They're not here to defend themselves. This is gossip, like you mentioned,
Yeah.
right? This is slander. We're finishing this right here, right now. I'm like, well, there's a lot of stuff we wanted to mention. And unless we actually say it, nothing will be fixed, because when we try to tell the other ones, they're just making fun of us. So we're here to you as a shepherd of the flock, hoping that something will change. But if you don't want to listen to us, how can something change? And he's like, no, we're just gonna pray about it. We'll finish with a prayer, and that's
You need
it.
to study more, Jack.
Yeah. Yeah. It's your problem, not theirs.
So yeah, outside you will get to know people much quicker. You got to figure it out, what are your values, and then if you live your values, you will find people who have the same values, and the friendships are going to be so much better and so much deeper. So you have nothing to be afraid of. You have everything to gain, as a matter of fact.
And when you meet people, right? There'll be some that you meet for a bit, and then you decide, okay, we don't really jive, right? So, and then you move on. And that way you discover yourself too, what you like, what you don't like. Unless you try, you don't know if you like it, right?
Mhm.
So, it's not like everyone that you meet along your way will be, someone you will jive with and be your friend. But unless that road of try and error, right? It will also lead you to discover what you actually, who you are, because that's what we were said, that we have to discover ourselves when we leave. So we meet people we like, we meet people we don't, and that's fine.
I think it's important too to understand in your heart that the world is open to being your friend, because in the religion you have 70, 80 publishers, however many people are in your congregation, and you have to be friends with them. You have to find something in common. You have to get along together.
Of course.
And then you end up feeling like it's your fault because you can't get along with people. So break that. Don't feel like, okay, I work with these people, I have to be friends with them. Something's wrong with me because I can't figure out how to be friends with these people in my job. No. You are now open to every human you see, You're
Mhm.
not stuck to having to force friendships out of one group like we used to be. Now you can make friends with the checker at the grocery store. You can go and take art classes, and I mean, there are so many people to meet. What do if you love animals, volunteer at an animal shelter. Go make friends with other people who like that. Make your world as big as possible,
Mhm.
because the religion kept us in this little box. Here's your 70 people. You have to be friends with these people. We don't do that anymore. We don't do that. Now we can find anyone everywhere to be your friend. There's no forcing anyone. I like what you said, Monica. If you sometimes you jive with somebody for a little while and then maybe sometimes you don't, that's human.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
natural. That didn't happen in our old life, but
Mm-mm.
that's what happens in real life. You talk to somebody, then you find out you don't really have that much in common, and you move on to somebody else. It's not a judgment about your abilities to make friends. It has nothing to do with you.
Mhm.
It has to do with our brainwashing from the cult. Now we're out of it. So now guess what? We find out who we are, and then we go test those skills on as many
Exactly.
people as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, and move on and move on. Then you always learn something. Like there's no bad decision. There's just a good decision and a lesson. That's all I like come up to. So, and every human interaction, every human, I wouldn't say friendship, but that we have a contact with, it is something that we learn from and we can take out from it.
Beautiful. We're gonna end at this. Thank you very much, ladies. I appreciate you very much.
Nice to.
And
I'm sorry
yeah,
for my barking dogs.
Oh, their dog's fine. They bark whenever they want to.
it's okay. You made it more real. All right. We'll see you guys next time. See you next week. Thank you for being with us.
Bye.
See you then.